My name is John Carpenter. I've been a personal injury lawyer for 30 years. Diana's case was pretty clear on liability. It doesn't get much clearer than that. Diana was on the way to her friend's house. She lives in Napa Valley. They were going to her house on the Silverado Trail. They stopped on the way to get some strawberries. While they're waiting to make a left-hand turn, a fully loaded dump truck driven by the County of Napa rear-ended her. And she was in the rear seat. The intrusion into the vehicle was really unsurvivable. It's a miracle that she survived. She had a severe traumatic brain injury. By all standards, everyone agreed to that. But the issue is, of course, her damages and her injuries. To the person who didn't know Diana, you'd see Diana on the streets and you'd think she's fine. She walks, she talks, she has no pain. I mean, their defense experts literally said her life was better now than it was before. She was not better than before, even though she was performing quite well. You know, defense neuropsychologists never agree with the plaintiff neuropsychologist ever, but there was one thing that they agreed upon. That was that they both agreed that Diana had a 98 IQ after the wreck. She didn't even learn to speak English until she was in kindergarten, yet by the time she took her ACT, SAT scores to go to college, she scored 93 percentile in English. We used that as our indisputable truth of how she was before, because grades are about effort. Intelligence is something different. The military uses the ACT, SAT scores, and they correlate that to IQ quite a lot. And so we had our educational psychologist correlate it to about a 124 IQ to 118 IQ. I've never done an IQ case before. I've never framed a brain injury case around an IQ, but in this case, that was the only thing that we really had that couldn't be disputed. Couldn't be disputed that she had a 98 IQ after the fact. Couldn't be disputed that a person with a 98 IQ would never score 93 percentile between all college entry seniors in English or any other subject. As good as Diana is doing with her grades now, as good as Diana is doing in everything that you can see, she lost 20 IQ points. The easy part of the case was liability. The difficult part of the case was communicating the truth of Diana's experience. So I looked at this video as almost like a mini film. Started off with the communication of weight and with force. And so I started with the filling up of the truck with the asphalt. I had DK Global work with my experts, my accident reconstruction expert, my biomechanical engineer, to put in the video just the pound forces that are being delivered to Diana's brain during this. When you drive a dump truck fully loaded at 45 miles an hour, that delivers the same force as a vehicle going 162 miles an hour. I don't always do videos, but this case, because I knew it was a governmental entity, I knew that I'd need something like this to communicate my message up the various levels. As the video was pushed up level to level to level, it was the same message, it was my message. It wasn't the defense insurance company message, it was our message. They knew that this video was going to come to trial, and they were going to see just exactly how Diana's head was pushed in from a fully loaded dump truck into the back of the head of the person in the front seat, where they headbutt like this, causing the fracture of her skull in multiple places and the coup contra coup injury of her brain. So when they saw that video, they knew they had the foundation for it. It was devastating for them. The end result was a record settlement in the County of Napa. The record verdict in the County of Napa was somewhere in about $8 million. We settled this case for $15 million. My experience with DK Global was actually really great. Every time I called DK Global for the small changes, they did it.